Hello and welcome to Long Story Short, here with the very famous TV's very own, well, when you look at it and when you try and compare to some of the movie stars and some of the TV personalities from all around the world, this is royalty that we are with right now. His name is Sam Newman. How are you?
Thank you, Shane. Yes, still self-distancing, are we?
We are. I can't wait until I can actually get near you. You know, and have that interaction. That'd be quite nice.
No,
might even give you a hug when I can.
Yeah, let's hope the virus goes on for another year.
Yes, thank you very much, Gary. Now, I can tell you right now, the boys are very, very scared. We're all scared. We're 10 metres above the ground. They are going to be diving. And whoever does the best dive or has the best entry will win.
Now dive, Bill.
Oh, you shut up, Sam. It's easy for you. Just spit up.
Dive.
You sit home there and do nothing. You get up here and have a go, you old fossil.
All right, good luck, Bill.
Bill, I have been harangued out in the public arena over the week about that ridiculous, pathetic, lily-livered, insipid performance by you and the other dirigible. I've had to fend it off. I'm going out there from now, Gary. I'm going to walk off now and I'm going down there and I'm going to dive off the thing.
You may be old, but we're right behind you. You're going to be diving and probably dying.
Shane.
And we can't wait. That's what we're talking about.
Shane, he has arrived, Samuel. He's down at the MSAC and he will very shortly make the long climb up there to the 10-metre tower.
It is all about to happen. The moment of truth for Samuel Newman. He's about to jump off the 10-metre platform. No, you're not. No, you're not.
We're about to jump.
No, we're not.
Tell him not to die.
Have a look at the patriotic lolly bags he's got him.
I'm going to do it.
You've got to jump straight out. I'm just trying to help you out, you old man. Hey, today, long story short, we're talking about the time on the AFL Footy Show when you actually dived off the 10-metre platform, which was incredible. It was live on the show. I happened to be there with you as support. We had Arthur, one of your very good friends there as well. But 10 metres, you've never done it before. What was the reason behind doing it in the first place? And then let's just talk through what was going through your head when you're actually trying to jump off that diving board.
Well, I think the genesis of it, if you like, was the fact that two people that were masquerading as the Michelin men, Brian Taylor and Bill Brownless, who weighed together between them about the weight as much as a small transit truck. And they decided to jump off the 10-metre board, which incidentally, for those people who don't know what 10 metres is, it's 33 feet in the old scale. And that is pretty high when you stand there and look down at a pool where there's water in it and you can't tell how close the water is because it sort of goes opaque and you lose your track of distance. But Bill and Brian jumped off it the week before and I said, how weak is that? At least you could possibly dive, couldn't you?
And rightly so.
Exactly. And when they landed in the water, they actually, I think, displaced 3/4 of the water in the pool, drenched the crowd watching and all the cameras. We had to get new equipment. And they got out there.
It was a mini tidal wave.
You could have filled a teacup with the water that was left in the pool after they landed in it. But so that's how I said, well, gee, fair dinkum, surely you could dive. And they said, why don't you dive next week? I said, of course I will, thinking that I'd never have to. Yeah, ever.
And then, obviously, the next week comes. It's live on the Footy Show, so there's no backing down. I was there as your support. Arthur was there. You're in your Australian Speedos.
Yes.
So you had that real connection to, what you're doing was a real Aussie thing, for someone who's never dived off a 10-metre platform before to actually get out and have a go. But when you first looked over, what went through your head?
Well, I looked over at Arthur, and he's what's known as a fluffer. He would make sure that you're all intact and you're all tucked in so that nothing slipped out because we're live on television. And
you can't have anything slapping the water.
No. And Arthur made sure he actually got too close to me and too familiar. I said, back off, Arthur, please. No, he's a good man, Arthur. He's a dwarf. Do you know that? He's a dwarf.
That's right, yes.
Yeah.
But he was involved with the Footy Show a lot, wasn't he?
He was, and he used to love it. I used to say, people used to say, you're a little person. And he said, no, I'm a dwarf. I said, so we went with that, and then we got criticised for saying that. So Arthur said, that's what he is. Anyhow, so, and then there was another dwarf on the other side, and that was you. And you kept prodding me and pushing me and getting me to the edge. You annoyed me more than anyone I've ever been annoyed by.
I was motivating you. That's what I was doing.
You were annoying me beyond description.
I was actually scared for you. And not only that, originally you whacked the handcuffs on me and you said, no, you're coming with me. And I thought you were legit. I'm thinking, oh, no, this is not good. But then Arthur gave us the key, unlocked us, and then you're away. You had to set yourself. You had to go for it. So what was going through your head when you were ready to launch?
So Jim and Gary were comparing the show, and they said, I didn't have an earphone, but I presume you did, or Arthur did. Someone said, we're coming back out of the break, and when we say do it, just go and dive off it, and don't waste time, because we can't procrastinate too long. And I said, oh, that's easy for you to say. So came back off the break and he said, here he is. And I got to the edge of the board. Now, I've never done this before. I don't know if anyone has ever been to a public swimming pool or any swimming pool and stood on top of a 10-metre board, 33 feet high, having never dived before. As the scariest thing I've ever done in my life. So I stood there and Gary said, get on with it, hurry up, dive. I said, right, well, all right, settle down, Gary. And then you were urging and pushing. And so I was told to actually launch myself out into space, which is easy for someone to say who's giving instructions from behind the booth. So out I went. And unfortunately, having never done it before, I hit the water at a 45-degree angle. And I don't know if this has been public knowledge. I think it is. So I've mentioned it the next week. I got a hernia out of it. I got an inguinal hernia and went to the hospital. I've had most of my injuries not on the football field. I know a bloke punched me at my doorstep once, but most of my injuries have happened on the Footy Show. The inguinal hernia was one, and I got knocked out once in a ring, or you knocked me out of the ring, and I had a cranial x-ray done on my head. Got home at 4 a.m. after the image was sent to England for them to do a biopsy on me. But so I got a hernia out of diving into the pool. Yeah, and you came over and interviewed me and said, how are you? I said, oh, how am I? My agates had gone up into my spleen. I was speaking like an English choir girl.
Yeah, here he comes.
Sam, how are you feeling? Was it a good entry? Were you happy with your entry?
Yeah, I was pretty happy. I thought I could have done better, but if you could just get me agates back into actually preps down below me hips, I reckon I could be right, Jake.
And by the time I got them back into where they should be, the pain had gone. So it was a disaster all round. And then Gary just went on with the show. So, right, coming up is I said, well, that's fantastic. So I was helped by 6 people to my room. They had to dress me. I was driven home in an ambulance. So it was fantastic.
But I'll tell you what, you got a standing ovation, much respect from the fellow panellists.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, you did what the others couldn't do. BT and Bill, you actually dived off a 10-metre platform, so you should be very proud.
Well, proud. I don't know if I was proud. I was foolish. But
it was entertaining, Sam.
Yeah,
you know that.
Yeah. No, Gary and Jim said, do this. I said, oh, okay, yeah, that's all right for you. Why don't you stay in the studio and compare, and I'll go and do it all. I said, yeah, why don't you? So off I went.
Off you did, and you did a bloody good job. So well done on that.
Yeah,
we absolutely loved it, and I'm sure everyone's going to love reminiscing about the great time that Sam Newman launched himself off the 10-metre platform. Thanks for joining us for Long Story Short.
Oh, thank you, Shane. Those memories, hey? Memories. Oh, shit.